Welcome to the Julie and the Milo show. Today we have none other than Mr. Jeffery Morlock here with discussing with Milo Academy.
Jeffrey, it's good to have you back today, man. It's so good to see you again. Today we're going to talk about Cademy, and this is a brilliant product, man. I love this product. There's so much of this product. Let's talk about it a little bit. I mean, it's educational. Talk to us about the educational part of ONPASSIVE or Cademy.
Man alive, when you talk about education, you got to talk about Cademy because it's going to be the premier education platform of the world. I mean, if you think about it, we've already got major universities signing up saying, hey, we want this thing and we want to have it to be a part of our curriculum. And not only that, but it's my understanding that you're going to have entire universities that are not only going to use it, but it's going to be a requirement that their students download and use it, which is obviously going to, that's going to run into the entire digital ecosystem of ONPASSIVE. So when you talk about Cademy and education, you're talking about the best thing in the world as far as education goes, because the two of them together, when you take the digitality of what we've got and what we're bringing to online learning, to the e-learning, and you mix that with the real world universities, you're going to have the best hybrid education platform in the world, bar none.
Absolutely, Jeffrey. I mean, the educational part is great on it. And, you know, I feel like that with ONPASSIVE at this point, you know, you're not really going to have to do anything that you're not passionate about, right. You know, as far as work or whatever. So I see this being used with a lot of how-to videos. You understand what I'm saying? How to do gardening, how to play music. Talk to me a little about that.
Absolutely. Well, that's not the only, the beauty of this is it can be for anybody. It can be for the mom or pop that may be day schooling. It can be, I mean, I've got a sister. She's got her master's. She's been teaching for 25 years. She can go on here and use this and do good things. It can be for, you know, the folks that are, well, like you said, I mean, if you think about some of the stuff on Pinterest and all the people that, everything that people does or everything that people do, I guess is the right way to say it. All of that, if you've got something to teach, whether it's music or whether it's poetry or whether it's painting or whether it's physics, you can do it on this. And it's got all the tools for you to be able to do it. Because when you think about it, I mean, their whole thing is they want to collect and become the biggest educational library in the world. And they've got the resources, they got the technology, and they've got the will to do it. So it's going to be the biggest thing to hit the internet and learning in ever.
Absolutely. I believe it. I believe that it will be you know, searchable, where you want to know how to do something, you just go to, you know, to ONPASSIVE Cademy, and you plug it in and you'll find something there. And I think there will be a lot of it that will be free, because I think when it's to the point of people are doing it for passion, you know, and they don't really need the money. They don't need, you know, more apples or whatever. Why not just give it away? Because when you give it away, remember, it brings people into you too also. And you mentioned too also about higher education. You know, that's a great point. But what about even like let's talk about like you know, I was a salesman and I would have to go to these sales meetings. Now, you know, you don't have to pay to send your salesman to go learn about Anderson Windows or to learn about Marvin Windows or a building product. They can come there, and then certificates and stuff like that. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh man, you open up something really, really big, because when you, especially now, what you just touched on is training. And when you take a world class, or in this case ONPASSIVE class education platform, and then you connect that with a webinar or teleconferencing platform and doing your live trainings like you were talking about, man, the two of those together, those are very, very powerful. But the platform for Cademy, you can put your own classes up there. You're not limited by how many classes you can have. You're not limited by students. You're not limited by what you can charge. If you want to give it away free, give it away free. And you're not limited, how much you can do or anything like that. But even more than that, even more than the teaching and the training and the fun stuff and the hobbies and everything that's going on, it provides a lot of other things for the teachers and the students. Now, when you look at a user, whatever that user is, it provides course searchability, right? According to whatever you're looking for. It's AI enabled like everything else, right? AI driven. So it's giving you a lot more and newer targeted suggestions for your course curriculum that you wanted to give out, right? And that's whether you're learning or teaching, whether you're the student or whether you're the educator. But if you're the educator, it also gives you what they call a course quality checklist. And that's to guarantee your course excellence, because there's certain criteria that you got to meet. It makes it more marketable, more capable of providing the best learning experience you could ever have. So, when you start talking things like that, and the fact that it's exponentially flexible and scalable, right? I mean, just it can blow up as big as you want it to be. An AI-driven language translation, real-time language translation. That means we're not going to be hindered, and we're not going to be slowed down just because we happen to be in one country and we're listening to something in another language. There's going to be real-time translation into your regional language. So that is absolutely huge. You're going to find out that learning is no longer limited by your age or your background or where you are in the world or the language you speak, right? And that is going to be something that's just going to knock your socks off when you can be listening from, I'm in North Carolina, and maybe I want to hear something that somebody in Israel is teaching, but it's taught in Arabic. And so I can click the button and it'll do a lot of translation, whatever it does. I mean, it does it through AI and whatever, but I'm hearing what this guy says in my own language and I'm learning. And that is incredible.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And I like to always go back to the point that only 59% of the world gets the internet right now. What happens when 100% of the world gets it, and some of these undeveloped countries are able to watch people doing plumbing, people doing electricity, people doing training in any which way you want to? Is that going to change the world? When we talk about ONPASSIVE is going to change the world one person at a time, this is part of what we're talking about, I believe.
Absolutely. This is exactly what we're talking about. And this is just one platform that's going to enable something like that. So when you have this connectivity and this access by such a global population, absolutely, that is going to make a marked change in the dynamics of the cultures that are viewing this. And some of them, you are absolutely right, they're going to see for the first time things they've never been privy to. They're going to have communication first time for the things that they've never been able to talk to or communicate with, or to even see or interact with. And that is going to, you take some of these countries that have been knocked down and beat up, and you got tyrannical people that are doing things and shutting off visibility to the world or anything like that. This is something that's going to lift people. It's going to lift people up, and it's going to bless them, and it's going to show them another side of life, which can be very, very good.
Absolutely, I believe it. And and when you combine it with the ONPASSIVE ecosystem, those world countries might not have a bank. They might not have, they don't have internet. They don't have phones. They don't have. When ONPASSIVE brings that over to that area is going to explode, I believe. And people's going to look for knowledge, and knowledge is power. So anytime you can learn anything, it is power. So it's going to make people, if you want to be whatever you want to be, you can be it, because you can look there, you can get that education, and even into, if we talk about, law, accounting, how are we going to do things, and what are we going to do with it? I believe we'll have a source for that also. What do you think of that?
Absolutely, because on this, now remember that our mission here, our goal with Cademy is to have the largest repository of information on the planet. And that's going to give people access to resources they have never, ever had before in their lives. And they're going to be able to start learning things and adding things. And a little bit ago, when you said, man, that's going to explode, people aren't getting the half of it. This is just one program. And if you connect this one program to Connect, that's 2 programs, and that's going to explode even more. But when you start adding the rest of the programs and the rest of the resources and the tools and the services that we have in our digital ecosystem, oh my goodness, that explodes 360 degrees in every direction. They're going to be learning, seeing, interacting, and man, life is going to get really good really fast.
Absolutely. Jeffrey, we are out of time. I can't believe it. We want to keep these things hard hitting, but I went without a cap today, man, and lean in this way. There you go. Wait, hey, maybe we better not do that because someone want to put a diaper on that thing. We got this nice smooth. Jeffrey, thank you so much for coming today. It was a blast being here with you. We hit it hard. We hit it for a few minutes, and that's all it's about. But remember, there's a lot more that you can find out. Click the link below. Look at Jeffrey's full thing on Cademy. And I'm telling you, you will be blown away at the things that it can do. Thank you for coming tonight. Good night from Nashville.
And good night from North Carolina.